Work. Kamala's had quite a couple of weeks. So, we didn't really talk about her big country over party, which, a lot of people made a joke that she could have just put a period after over and then been like, the country's over, time to party. Because when you are barnstorming with Liz, whatever, Cheney,
and Dick Cheney.
Yeah, I mean, but like actually appearing on stage
with
somebody who you say you're honored to have her endorsement, who voted with Trump 92.9% of the time.
And they've said that it wasn't a one-time thing. Like, they're going to cart her out more often.
Who are they going? Like, who is this for?
Yeah. And while they're doing this, even the pundits on whatever show I was watching, I think it was MSNBC, were saying, well, there's a real risk of like alienating the progressives in the party with this.
They do not give a shit.
And yeah, this is just, it's crazy how much it's like they know there's going to be some serious blowback that they're not going to get over with the Israel war,
right.
The genocide in Gaza. So they're like, we're all in on the other side, no matter what. We're not going to try to appease both. We're just hard right.
Yeah, it's really interesting that, and like I see liberals be like, come to our side, Liz Cheney, come to our side, welcoming the Lincoln Project. It is so revealing how like so many normie Dems are excited to have these war criminal ghouls invited into the party and at the same time show nothing but contempt for the base of the Democrats. Like, get over it. We're not doing healthcare this time. Get over it. You're really not going to vote for her. It could be, like, why is a Republican voter worth more than a Green Party voter?
Yeah. And they can say that, look, the progressives are this little fringe group, right? But the one thing from 2018 or 2020, 2016 and 2020 was that progressive ideas won out, even if that wing that we're in is fringe.
Right.
The basic ideas we stand for, when you talk to people about it, they're not fringe. So you're really not just pissing off our little wing. You're pissing off a lot of people.
Right.
I mean, which truly is the base. The base thinks, or at least thought, the party represented these things and wanted healthcare and wanted to not frack. And
I mean, she is truly running the George W. Bush. I mean, she's actually running Hillary 2016, but to the right of her. But like this whole thing of wanting all these Republicans, it's just
it would make sense if you had a true, I mean, strategically, I'm not saying it'd be good for the country, but strategically, if you had a true 50-50 split or something on the right over Trump, that doesn't exist. And people on the right can't come out against Trump. So
yeah, why are they trying to save the Republican Party? Like, we just want a good, strong Republican Party. The Republican Party is Trump. Like, let's stop pretending. She voted with Trump 93% of the time. Her father staged an insurrection that was successful. So, like, they are the party of Trump. Why are Democrats working so hard to bring them into the fold?
Right.
I mean, I know why, but like,
you should have used Trump to put the nail in the coffin for Republican ideas.
Yeah. If
Not,
you cared.
Let's embrace trickle-down economics. Let's let immigrants are the problem. They're bringing the drugs across the border.
Yeah. Like, if they were a true oppositional party, and this is why, like, and liberals just will never care, I know, because they just want to be comfortable and not be totally embarrassed by Trump's, cringe behavior. Yeah, mean tweets. But like, if you were actually an oppositional party, do to Republicans what you did to Bernie. Fucking kneecap them, crush them. They'll never do it. They welcome them.
And it would have been so easy.
Yeah. The other thing is, Liz Cheney is a historic loser. She lost by 37 points in her primary. So, like, the fourth worst incumbent loss since 1968. So again, like, who is this for?
Well, I know one thing, it's for Liz Cheney, who's going to be running as a Democrat or independent very soon, or she's going to get a cabinet position. Maybe that's the person Kamala keeps running around saying, we're going to have a Republican or two in our cabinet. And why wouldn't it be her? Why?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because if if like all the other war criminals, MSNBC hires her for $20 million a year or something, I bet she would way rather have that job. In the end, that's all any of these people want, right?
Right. I mean, ex-Republicans are guaranteed spots on MSNBC and CNN.
100%.
They get a show. They'll get your own show.
Yeah, you'll be Nicole Wallace, or yeah. All right, so that was part of the beginning part, and also what we didn't before we get to all of her media blitz, which somebody in the replies to our show today said, if your media blitz is such a failure, should we call it a splat? So I thought that's actually a really good a good term for her media splats. But so last week she was courting, the Visa CEO at the same time as the Biden-Harris administration is suing them. And not only that, and here come the readers earlier than normal, but this is from Ryan Grimm in Dropsite. The same Financial Times report relays assurances Harris made to the financial industry executives that she could remove regulators they see as hostile, such as Lina Kahn at the Federal Trade Commission and Gary Gensler at the Securities and Exchange Commission. Those are like the only two good things about their whole administration. And she is signaling to her, billionaire donors, she's going to get rid of those little impediments to their making even more money.
Yeah. And not only is she signaling, they themselves, I forget the billionaire's name, went on TV saying basically our donations are dependent on not having Lina Kahn in power anymore. And we let Kamala know we don't want her.
Yep. Yeah. And the Lincoln Project, they got paid. I mean, it's incredible how many liberals, and it was all liberals giving them millions of dollars, does not change a single vote. There was no proof that anybody's vote changed because of
and that thing, it was such a grift. I mean, these guys did nothing for the money they got.
Yeah.
Nothing. They just capitalized on it.
Yeah. That's their whole deal.
And and half the money, more than half the money they got, I mean, it was Democrat money.
Oh, oh my God. It was almost
like
entirely
all Democrats. Libs, these are the greatest people on earth because they're now against
We're welcoming
Trump.
them. We hate third-party voters, but we love Republicans who don't like Trump. All right. Well, there are just so many. It started with 60 Minutes. We showed a clip on Netanyahu that when she was talking to what's his name, Bill Hutchinson was the interviewer's
60
name.
Minutes, yeah.
They keep releasing different clips online, but one of the ones that they released online, which was that response about Netanyahu, they actually edited, which is a little broadcast newsy for me. I don't know. Is that what you're supposed to do if you are the premier?
It's pure manipulation to take out all the. It'd be like if you showed a highlight of me on this show saying one good thing. What about the 20 things I said that were full of shit and where I made up numbers? I mean,
okay, but wait, that would be different. If it were a highlight reel, that'd be one thing, right? Because then you expect, okay, there is some manipulation. We're only going to take the good bits. We're going to put the swelling music under it. We're going to do our whole little Valentine to Pat. This is supposed to be a straight news, like her hard-hitting interview, because it's the only one. Then it was The View and Howard Stern and Call Me Daddy. So this is her hard-hitting interview. Just see how it was edited. It's pretty crazy.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Yeah.
So that's not and that's not a commercial.
They changed it into her waffling and looking sort of offended that he even asked, to a question that could be taken both ways.
Yeah.
that she responded in a like, oh, you know, we got to
Hard-hitting, we
insist
gotta-
on toughness and a quick response, like very
Yeah.
presidential, that she just spit that out there.
Yeah. I don't like it. This is also funny. This is earning votes, Kamala Harris.
A quarter of registered voters still say they don't know you. They don't know what makes you tick. And why do you think that is? What's the disconnect?
It's an election, Bill. And I take it seriously that I have to earn everyone's vote. This is an election for President of the United States. No one should be able to take for granted that they can just declare themselves a candidate and automatically receive support. You have to earn it. And that's what I intend to do.
Intend to do? You haven't
When
done
is
it.
that
You
going to
didn't.
happen? She's got 29 more days.
She said that about the nomination and then earned it overnight by calling superdelegates. Allegedly, she didn't even do that. The donors set it up. But
Yeah.
like, she didn't earn it. She hasn't earned shit.
And people still don't know who she is or what she's doing, right? Like,
And you can't know what she stands for because she's running up there with Dick Cheney and I mean Liz Cheney, and
actually,
every policy is pretty to the right.
we know exactly what she stands for. Actually.
Yeah,
but no, I mean, yeah, like her policy platform, and then you have Tim Walz basically saying in an interview, Axios just broke that, like, basically he's like, you know, she doesn't stand for any of those things from 2020 anymore. She's done with that. Even as he was talking about some of the more sort of like working class or left-leaning policies that he's implemented in Minnesota. It's just
kind of it's kind of baffling to me that he went from being respected on the left for having sort of tough, good answers to questions to now it's so obvious he's pretzeled in a position that he personally doesn't like or didn't like.
Yeah.
That he's not answering these questions well. And he's not doing the campaign much of a service on TV every time he represents her.
Well, because the thing that people liked about him was that he had done some of these great leftist policies, right? Like free breakfast and lunch. I can't remember. It might just be free breakfast, but you know, expanding Medicare. Right. I mean, he did some good things, and they don't want to talk about any of that. We're not going to help people materially at all. If you fill out tons of paperwork, we'll give you a tax credit.
Yeah. Well, you should be able to use him run around the country saying, look at the stuff we got for our state. People love it. We got it. We're going to do it for everybody.
They don't want to. Yeah.
That's how you win an election right there.
Yeah. Honestly, I think they should have saved the people who still had like a morsel of hope inside of themselves the last month and just given it to Shapiro, because this,
it's like, more authentic.
I mean, that's who they are. Like, they want the genocide. They're just slick, corporate, gross, like, you know, because Shapiro kind of has a feel of Gavin Newsom, but I think that was actually the biggest problem. I think more than, you know, I think people gave Kamala a lot of credit, which was not deserved, for picking him, thinking, oh, see, it's her inner lefty who wants to come out. It's her, and they always cite this thing about, oh, she was the most progressive voter in Congress. She was there over the Trump years. Every Democrat voted that way, but she has such a short record that that's all they could count, right? Like, she's not more left than Bernie was or whatever. No, it's so stupid.
And here's the Newsom in her.
Yeah.
Newsom. And let me tell you, in Sacramento, all I hear on the radio is all this sweeping homeless stuff. And so we're getting, like, you know, mayor debates. We're getting, you know, a lot of elections are on the line come November. And pretty much everyone, except for there's one mayor that's running that I kind of like, but they're all running on, we have to enforce these policies, even if we don't like them. And here's the way they get out of it. Well, if we don't sweep all these camps and all the cities around us sweep all these camps, that makes us a safe haven for all the homeless people. So we'll be the homeless capital of the world and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Which may be accurate, but it's not a moral position to hold. It's not, you know,
I mean, there's a way to solve the homeless problem.
Yeah, of course. You know, I mean, you need services. You need to tie the services to
homes. Give them
homes. You know, you can't just kick people out and make it criminal with no place for these people to go. And that's what they've done. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there are like currently hundreds of people on a waiting list to get into temporary housing. You know, they want it. So here are the people that want it, and you can't give them anything. But if they're on the street, they're going to get arrested again and swept.
Well, because we need slave labor. We need people to fight our fires, Kamala. It's all a big project. The more of us who are criminalized, because those private prisons actually make tons of money, and it's like 3 different benefits. I think they can count prison populations in their districts, even though people can't vote, but they can count that to get more representatives. Then you have private prisons raking in money, and then you also have slave labor. It's like a trifecta.
Right. And then you also, the people in charge get to say they were tough on crime. And now we did something about the homeless. Look at how many more people were we have the police endorsement. You know,
God.
Yeah. People still buy that. Oh, it's a good thing to have a police endorsement.
Oh, God. All right. So then she goes on The View. More hard-hitting questions. And sorry, you know, stab your ears or get another glass or another edible or whatever it is. But
all of them.
Here, all of it. All of the above.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact. Yeah. The work that we have done, for example, capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month for our seniors is something I care deeply about allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices and bring the cost of prescription medication down for seniors, but my intention is to expand that for all Americans. The work we have done to invest in American industries, whether it be in terms of manufacturing and creating almost 800,000 new jobs around manufacturing. Those were all a shared priority. Well,
so here's the inherent conflict, right? Like, she doesn't have much of a record. So she can't distance herself entirely, because how else is anybody going to look at her and be like, oh, no, you should be the leader of the free world? So she has to be like, no, I'm the same. We did all these great things, except that he's wildly unpopular and people want to change candidate. Yeah. So here's the change. Get ready. It's going to be, just love this lady. Here we go.
Yeah. Listen, I plan on having a Republican in my cabinet.
I got a list.
Yeah, right. You asked me what's the difference between Joe Biden and me. Well, that will be one of the differences. I'm going to have a Republican in my cabinet, because I don't feel burdened by letting pride get in the way of a good idea.
She wanted to say what has been. You know, she wanted to say, I don't feel burdened by what has been, but she's knows
like, wait, what's my line? What's my line?
I am so sick of her.
Israel has a right to defend itself. We would, but how it does so matters. Yeah.
They keep claiming that they gave Medicare the right to negotiate drug prices. They have not done that across the board.
10 drugs over the course
of a handful of drugs.
Yeah.
You know, so stop claiming that all seniors get all their drugs and they're all negotiated.
No.
You got insulin prices down. Most of this stuff is phased in for 10 drugs over like 6 years. Like, it's not even tomorrow. It's not now. Yeah. It can be overturned by Republicans in the next administration.
Only for, like, Medicare. I mean, like, there's so many, again, it's like neoliberal heaven, right? Like, it's like you have to fit into 6 different slots in order to have that, right? It's not everybody. It's not everybody who needs insulin.
Right. And that's the real problem. But they are claiming it is by being vague about it and suggesting
nobody ever pushes them on it.
Nothing.
Okay. Then she goes on. Should we do the call her daddy, or the call me daddy, or the Colbert, Howard Stern? I mean, we
should do them all.
We're going to do them all. So just prep yourself. Okay. Here, I never heard of this podcast. Had you heard of it before? Call Me Daddy?
No, but before she went on the interview, they were showing clips of how sexual the show is, saying she shouldn't be on this show. You know, the right was attacking her for going on this show.
Well, and I think that woman, I can't remember her name now, but I think she's not normally political at all. I think that was her whole thing. And like, somebody described her as like the female Joe Rogan. But I mean, Joe Rogan actually has had quite a few politicians on, and whatever you think about him, he'll actually have like long conversations with them, even sometimes about policy, even if he gets stuff wrong. But like,
Yeah.
he's not, he's trying to be a little different. I don't know. I've never watched it, but apparently it's like massively popular, her show.
Something tells me I'm not the demographic, but
yeah, me neither. Okay.
I'm not calling her daddy. Where's the clip? Let's see.
Right here.
I want to ask you a question because again, in speaking about women, there has been a very big fixation on biological children, stepchildren, women that have children versus women that don't have children. It's like a huge point somehow of this entire election, right? I saw the governor of Arkansas said, "My kids keep me humble." Unfortunately, Kamala Harris doesn't have anything keeping her humble. How did that make you feel?
I don't think she understands that there are a whole lot of women out here who, one, are not aspiring to be humble. Two, a whole lot of women out here who have a lot of love in their life, family in their life, and children in their life. And I think it's really important for women to lift each other up. You know, I'll tell you, Alex, one of the things that I have really enjoyed about where the discussion has gone, one of the places it's gone, we have our family by blood, and then we have our family by love. And I have both. And I consider it to be a real blessing. And I have two beautiful children, Cole and Ella, who call me Mamala. We have a very modern family.
Please, no.
My husband's ex-wife is a friend of mine, you know, and also I'll tell you, look, I'm a child of divorced parents. And when I started dating Doug, my husband, I was very thoughtful and sensitive to making sure that until I knew that our relationship was something that was going to be real, I didn't want to form a relationship with the kids and then walk away from that relationship. My own experience tells me that, you know, children form attachments and you really want to be thoughtful about it. And so I waited to meet the kids, and they are my children, and I love those kids to death. And family comes in many forms, and I think that increasingly, you know, all of us understand that, you know, this is not the 1950s anymore. Families come in all kinds of shapes and forms.
That's the best I've ever heard her. She sounds drunk off her ass. She sounds like me at the end of a party where I'm trying to be like really sincere and try to not show anybody that I'm as drunk as I am. And so like you over make up for it. But like,
yeah.
Okay.
But what a softball. What a, like, you know.
Yeah. But you can like, tell when she knows how she feels about something, right?
I don't I mean, I hated her more after watching that clip. I'm sure it attached, you know, some women, some men, some whatever, marginalized groups that are, you know, not seen as the family unit, probably that appealed to, but
yeah,
you know, the show's not for me. So I'll just let her have her Mamala moment.
I mean, it's definitely not for me either at all. But I do think it's interesting to see the difference when it's something that she owns. Like, you know, when she talks about abortion and when she talks about you know, like what she was just talking about, like I mean, I have no reason, I can't see into anybody's heart. I have no reason not to believe that she loves those kids and, you know, all of that.
I do.
And but like it feels different from when she's trying to answer, how would you deal with Netanyahu, or why have you changed your mind about fracking or Medicare for all? Like, she can't answer those questions, right?
Well, and that's the point, is you should be, with less than 30 days to go for the election, you should be hitting those issues, not this like, oh, the right called you a bad mom, or, you know, like, I mean,
it's like,
look,
it feels like,
I understand if you're her, you want your personal narrative, you want to appeal to people, you want to seem likable, and this is probably helping with some of that, but too many people, there's a huge audience hungry for the answers to the real stuff.
Yeah, it feels really dismissive of the pain that people are going through. Like, and listen, I know there were a lot of people, right-wing people, who were like, we still haven't recovered from Hurricane Helene, and now we've got Hurricane Milton hitting Florida right now, and you're going on Call Her Daddy and Howard Stern and talking about, these like sort of soft personal questions, which is great if you're going to do a Good Housekeeping cover the way most second ladies do, right? Like Laura Bush or whatever.
Which is what that's what it
yeah.
felt like to me, not running for president. It felt like interviewing the first lady after she's already been in office, or the potential first lady. Let's get to know her. Let's hear some baking stories or
exactly.
something.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, so that was her call me daddy, call her daddy. Then she goes on with Stephen Colbert.
Polling shows that a lot of people, especially independent voters, really want this to be a change election, and that they tend to break for you in terms of thinking about change. You are a member of the President administration. Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I noticed.
And
Good
so
answer.
that would be one change.
She says that every single time.
I think it's important to say, with 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump. And so when we think about the significance of what this next generation of leadership looks like, were I to be elected president, it is about, frankly, I love the American people, and I believe in our country. I love that it is our character and nature to be an ambitious people. We have aspirations, we have dreams, we have incredible work ethic, and I just believe that we can create and build upon the success we've achieved in a way that we continue to grow opportunity, and in that way grow the strength of our nation. So for example, my economic policies, I think of it, and I've named it as creating an opportunity economy. So it's about things like investing in small businesses. I love our small business.
I mean, here's the thing. First of all, change candidate, what the hell are you talking about? But they know that that's what people have been talking about, and that she's sort of trying to advertise herself that way. They've known this is coming. And that's her answer.
And she was just on The View saying, what would you do differently than Biden? Nothing. So what's the change? The change is Biden went from this fake claim he's going to get bipartisan legislation, work across the aisle, and now she's taking that farther and putting Republicans on her cabinet, which is farther. That's
some change, baby.
That's more right. That's farther from this opportunity economy. That's trickle down economy.
I don't know how that's the answer they came up with. They knew, I mean, honestly, at some point it's like, oh my God.
Well, I think that, I don't know that was even an answer they came up with. I mean,
but how did they not? They know
she's not doing her homework, and she repeats the same things over and over. So this is her go-to. She falls back on, I love the American people.
And I'm not Biden.
Let me tell you something. And, I'm not Biden, but I'm not Trump. She said that like 20 fucking times already.
Put it on slap that
people
sucker on a bumper sticker.
When they hear that, because it's tired.
I mean, I'm looking at the comments, and obviously I know, we're all on the same side, but it's also what most of the country is saying, healthcare, not this shitty border fascist bill, end the genocide, right? Those are important issues. Nobody has enough money. Why isn't she running on a let's just $30 minimum wage? That's what it should be. Right? $27. But why? She's not even running on 15.
She's not even running on what 4 years ago they ran on, what Biden said he would do. That's off her platform. torture is off the platform now for the Democratic Party. They're not against
Death
torture
penalty,
anymore.
no death penalty against no abolishment of death penalty.
Sorry, not
and
penalty.
yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. All right. So that was yes, and I think Devin wrote in there she did crack a beer with him. Got to have that beer moment, which again, like that was the thing that we all made fun of with George W. Bush. He's just somebody you feel like you could have a beer with, and Al Gore is so stodgy and uptight. So she's gonna show she can have a beer with you.
Oh my God.
Change.
You talk about people I would least like to have a beer with. I mean, I would rather have a beer with Dick Cheney.
I mean,
I'm not even kidding.
Listen, I'm never gonna pass up alcohol, but I think I might have to extricate myself from whatever you and Dick Cheney might have going on. I'll go home and drink on my own because I hate
Good
all these.
call.
I know you do too.
But let's
all
see
right,
how this
yeah.
is playing out. I mean, so far.
Yeah. How's it going? How's it going for her? Her big blitz.
2 out of 3 swing states she's losing.
Is that showing for you? Because for some reason it's not showing for me. Are you seeing it?
PA, Michigan, Wisconsin.
I mean, no, it's not. Are you guys seeing the
Is the graphic on screen?
The graphic?
Bueller.
I know.
They kick us
Wouldn't that
off
be
the
funny?
air?
Yeah, we're just like off. Oh my God. Wait, because of Colbert? That would be horrible. Wouldn't that be?
No. Are we on air? Somebody.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Everybody sees it. I don't see. Oh, it just popped up for me finally. Weird.
All right.
My internet's really bad. It's over 100 degrees in LA, and I think because everyone's
broke?
using AC, I think the power grid is just being overtaxed, and I'm lagging. Yeah, not going great. I mean, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. I mean, listen, they're both within hair's breadth of each other, but like that's not gonna do it. I mean, unless it's totally different from every other time. But right now, we are in Hillary Clinton territory.
We are big time, and turnout. This is what I keep saying is that no matter what happens, I don't know how you get more enthusiastic about Kamala closer to the election. So, in my opinion, closer to the election, if you were an undecided voter, you've learned more about her, and you're like, oh, wow, she's not Trump, but and I don't think people are going to get up and vote for her. So right now, I'm calling this Trump's, and the betting markets agree with me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're like it's a huge split. Are you putting that up? Because I guess I'm not seeing the things you're putting up there.
Yeah, I uploaded that, and I'm not seeing it up here either.
Okay.
StreamYard, you sons of bitches. But
here.
There we go.
Leading 51. Oh, I mean, okay, fine, whatever. Still within a very small margin, but not great for Kamala, running against a racist moron reality TV show host who everybody hates. Like,
right. Who has ran up till now an atrocious campaign. But if he just dialed it in a little bit, I mean, I'm not saying drop the racism. He's going to beat Trump.
Yeah.
But he's, the dogs and cats stuff and things like that really have hurt him. So if he could clean that up a little bit, he wins this thing pretty easily, in my opinion, considering that we're not getting out of Palestine and people hate that. Economy is getting worse. The economic numbers are not looking any better for people. There's been no bright spots in the economic forecasts. So, people vote on the economy mostly, and they trust him better with the economy.
Yeah. I mean, things were better for most people economically under Trump. They really were.
The reality.
And, there are things that she could say that she doesn't want to piss off her donors to say. So, good to know where she is on that. But like, there is an enormous, comprehensive, system smashing platform that a person who wants to win and who wants actually to help people, like, why are you even doing this? I mean, I know why, but like people need healthcare. They need homes. They need to not work 3 jobs. They need childcare. Like, JD Vance is talking about childcare. I mean, she just started talking about, again, it's always like tinkering around the edges, but for people on Medicare to get in-home health care. So they still have some dignity. And I feel like that the way I feel about insulin. It's like, yes, you're so close, but like expand to everybody needs it. Everybody who needs insulin needs it, whether they're over 65 and on Medicaid or they're 3, right? Like,
and stop saying we're gonna build on it. Say we are gonna expand it to everybody. You put out an actual policy of like, we're getting everybody negotiated drug prices from now on. It's ridiculous that we haven't done this, and every other country on earth pays a third or a quarter less, quarter of what we do for drugs. I mean, we have drugs in this country that are $2,000 a month that are like $50 a month in other countries.
It's obscene. And the politics explainers always do this. Like, well, you need to have this number of people, and you don't know the way it works is it's got to go through Congress and like, okay, maybe, but like also again, Biden's gone around Congress several times to keep funding a genocide, which is against our laws, politics explainers, against 26 environmental laws to continue building Trump's wall. Like, and the thing that, one of the things she complained about is, the Supreme Court just gave the president unlimited powers.
Really?
But
yeah.
Maybe don't say that out loud.
Use them.
Fucking do something.
Right.
God.
But my thing on it too is like, okay, even if you play this, the adults in the room know you need Congress. Yeah, we all get that, right? But if nobody is calling for the right policy changes in this country, if nobody's out there using the bully pulpit saying we need universal health care, if nobody is saying the minimum wage needs to go up, how do you think the public is going to be convinced eventually to get this thing? How are we on a path towards it if you're not even talking about it? How are we on the path to get rid of fracking when you're saying fracking is something we need to do now? Oh, I'm super fracker.
You're super something.
You're supposed to have the microphone, if nothing else, and shaping public opinion.
Frack.
Do not come.
Do
not come. That is the. Never mind. I was going to say, how they always say, think of something, think of baseball, Oh
my God.
I'm just going to think of her saying that from now on.
That's better than the Jon Stewart line of when he sees Hillary Clinton's face. This is like
it's
a 26
same concept, but I don't know if I'll be able to recover. It might just end the session's over.
This is the face where boners go to die. Oh my God. She is totally Hillary 2.0. Do not come.
Yeah, baby.
No worries. All right. Do we have anything more that we can stomach on her? I don't know. Howard Stern.
I didn't watch Stern, so I'm personally just curious what she said on the Stern.
All right, let's see it. It's really ridiculous.
All right, here we
To
go.
your point, doesn't support our friend Ukraine, doesn't support, therefore, something America should always and has always, by the way, been a champion of, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity, which means the importance of standing against anyone who tries to take another nation by force.
Right.
That's what we stand for as Americans, that you don't do that. And if you do that to our friends, we're going to stand with our friends. You're getting played. And some would say, look, I grew up in the neighborhood. Some would say you're getting punked.
Yeah.
If you stand in favor of somebody who's an adversary over your friends on principles that we all agree on. And you look at it, it's not only that. He says he's going to be a dictator on day one. Understand what dictators do. They jail journalists. They put people who are protesting in the street in jail.
He said he thinks he wants to go after Jimmy Kimmel, a comedian. He wants to go after Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers. Even if someone had said years ago when I remember presidential races, if someone said, "Oh, Kamala Harris isn't a black woman," they would have been out of the. They would have been out of the. Yeah. That would have been it. Would have been over. I mean, how do you challenge that? Well, what do you do with that?
But back to the point.
I mean, I have to say, I don't want to malign her and if it's not true, she really does look like how I feel by the end of our show. Like I've drunk way too much, and I'm like trying really hard to show that I'm still there. So you're sort of like overcompensating. She's just like, but how can they say that? Like, how, first of all, yes, you know, Biden was thrown out in 87 because he was caught plagiarizing and lying. So they did segments on him and he was thrown out, and now nobody gives a shit, right? Hillary Clinton, probably one of the biggest reasons that she lost to Obama in the primary was because she voted for the Iraq war. Nobody cares about that anymore. We welcome those war criminals into our party. Reagan in 82 called up Menachem Begin and said, you're doing a genocide in Lebanon. You've got to stop. And now we're doing a genocide for over a year, and now funding another one going towards Lebanon. And hey, maybe we'll just also attack Iran. Like, lots of things would have stopped them. Sorry. Yeah.
We'll get into the war stuff some more when we get to Israel, because they're all pushing for war with Iran now.
Oh
but
my God.
It's crazy. She's on Howard Stern talking about, you know, you just go defend your friends, but you just took the endorsement of Dick Cheney, who killed 4 million Iraqis wrongly, not involved in 9/11 at all. And these are the people you're out there that are now your inner circle of bros. And you know,
I mean, honestly, this whole administration is so repugnant. There is nothing you can say that makes it okay what they're doing. And again, like, no, I would never vote for Trump ever, which is why I would never vote for this administration, because they're doing almost everything he would do, except without the mean tweets. Like, what is going on in people's brains? Okay. Yeah.
All right. And we should end the segment on this. And this is a painful way to go out, but we'll do another wheel spin to compensate.
Okay, good.
But, you know, they're cracking down on the press. They want to jail journalists. Well, the administration right now is going after protesters.
100%.
And they're trying to
criminalizing
words. And here's our favorite person on earth: drink, drink, drink.
There should be a lot of things done. We should be, in my view, repealing something called Section 230, which gave, platforms on the internet immunity because they were thought to be just pass-throughs, that they shouldn't be judged for the content that is posted. But we now know that that was an overly simple view, that if the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control.
What the hell is she wearing? She looks like Mao or something. Chairman, like, what is she doing?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't want to make fun of women and how they dress, but she rocked the Chairman Mao outfit so many times when she ran for president. It was like so out of touch with, you know, it just didn't fit to me. I mean, it fit her perfectly, but like the general public didn't love her little mousy tongue outfits. I mean, I don't think.
And also, like, when Democrats talk about being pro-democracy and saving our democracy, what exactly are they talking about? Is it the First Amendment? Is it freedom of the press? You know, there is a gray zone. Oh gosh, is it Jeremy Laredo? I think is his name. I'm sorry if I got his name wrong, but 4 American journalists, 4, were just beaten and imprisoned by IDF soldiers. And 3 of the 4, I think 3 of the 4 have been released, and Jeremy is still in prison. That's an American journalist.
Yes, I mean, that's disgusting. But aside from American journalists, what about the Iraqi journal? I mean, not Iraqi, the journalists over in Palestine. So we are enabling all that's happening there. And something like 175 journalists have been killed.
I think 177 was today.
Yeah.
Last
and
night.
Over 400 healthcare workers, aid workers.
And that was a Blinken project, which I know we're going to get into Israel after we spin, but, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it is just for everybody who is embarrassed by George W. Bush, and I was one of them, like, our standing in the world has gone down. And then Obama gets the Nobel Peace Prize while droning people, like, and some of them were American citizens, but anyway, just citizens, like people, not war, not people fighting in a war. And then, but somehow our standing was still semi-decent or came back. Then Trump, embarrassment. Joe Biden has to be not only a worse embarrassment, but like there's nothing that Trump did that can measure to what Biden's done.
Serious lasting damage, because what the world always thought before was like, oh, it changes from one administration to the next in the US. So like we survive a Trump and we go back to the good guys with the Democrats, that kind of thinking. And we're long past that. When the genociders are the good guys, allegedly, they're not more scared of Trump than seeing the genocide. Like they don't, the world isn't on our side at all anymore. Like
not at all. Not at all. And by the way, both sides have continued all of the foreign policy exactly in line with each other for decades. So,
Hillary makes me drink. I'm grabbing my second beer.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, baby.